Hello, hello. I am live. I am here. I am making a grandmother's fan today. I'll go over that in a minute. As always, I'm just still getting the last couple of seconds of my setting up to go. And as always, give you guys almost no notice. So you'll get here when you get here. So I already have my fabric. I already picked out the fabric that I want to use, which is a process. So I've got the fabric that I want to use. I already picked out the fabric. Hey, Linda. I already picked out the fabric that I want to use, and I double checked to make sure. Whoa, that is crappy. What the hell is going on here? This camera just hates me. Come on. There's a reason why I stopped using this camera. I don't know what it's trying to focus on. Well, this is not going to be fun if that does that. This was perfect. I tested the camera. I had the camera running like for the last 10 minutes. Just while I'm leaving on while I'm setting stuff up, right? No problem. No fucking problem at all. I'm just going to give it a minute and see if it stops spazzing on its own. See how you do that? It doesn't want to do this. I hate this camera. Okay, let me see if I can get into settings. Did it stop? Oh, as soon as I went to punish it, it stopped. Did you see that? It's like, I'm going to deal with you. It's like, oh, shit, I better behave now. Okay. So I picked out my fabric and got it ironed. I'm going to just do... I just dug through my scrap. I got the dye when I got all my other Accuquilt stuff, but I never, this is the block that it's going to make. This is a better view of the block. So it's got a curved piece here. This all curves and that. So that's one side. And then you can connect them together and make a circle. You can connect them. This is why it's called Grandma's Fan. You can connect them together into this. Connect them together in a quilt. So it's got what? 1, 2, 3, 4 different ideas for how you can put these together once you've made it. This one's kind of neat because you take your quarter and then you add a strip to the center so they don't touch. Anyway, I've got the block. I haven't actually made one yet. So I thought you guys could come along on the struggle bus with me while I see how I can get this put together. But apparently you guys, is just you so far, Linda? I only put the notice up like an hour ago. So it's not like this was a super planned out video. But anyway, we don't have to care about that. So, but I'm just going to babble on because I know there's some people that wander in and listen for the tips. So I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm going to do the thing. How you doing today? We're having weird weather here, which is nice. It's not super, super hot, but it's weird. So today is cold but muggy. So this is the dye. Let me get my shit out of the way. I always do this. I always press the button and then I'm not quite ready. Well, I am not quite ready. I've been putting my mouse on top of the Accuquilt, which I'm using today, so I can't put the mouse over there. I can just put it up here. The mouse has to live out here live here. Ooh, fixing supper. What's for supper? I don't know what we're probably just doing McDonald's or something. Lisa's got her live stream tonight. I'm doing this, and Lisa's got her live stream, so I don't know how that's going to work. Anyway, so I think I've gone over I still want to know what you're having for dinner, though. We're just not doing anything. So, somebody else came in. The room is rocking. Okay, so this is the same idea as the Accuquilt. This is still an Accuquilt dye. It still goes through the thing. And these ones are actually marked this time. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but when you get in closer, yeah, you can see the lines there. So that is going to be one piece. That is going to be the other piece. That is going to be the third piece. Obviously. Fries, and chicken. Oh, chicken. I love chicken. I love chicken. There's a really cool thing you can do with potatoes where you take leftover mashed potatoes, roll them up in a ball, dip it in some egg and some breadcrumbs, and then pat it. Well, it's called croquettes. And you just deep fry it right along with the chicken. That's really good. Okay. So what I have here is I'm making this, right? I'm making this or this, whatever thing I want to do afterwards is going to start with this. Oh yeah, this one shows it. You can see that it's white here and here. Hi, Bohemian girl. Yeah, it has been a while. We're doing good. How you doing? How are you doing? Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3 of these, but this block takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 2. I need I can cut 3 at a time, but I need 2 of these, but I only need 1 and 1. So that's what I'm going to do. Come on, you go over there. I don't like putting things on the floor because then the dogs might lay on it or get it messy. So what I'm going to do here, and again, you can put your hands on these things. Just don't get right on those lines because you'll push your finger down onto the razor blade. Be careful how you grab things. Okay, so this here I need 1 of each, and I decided to go with. I don't keep white. I don't have. This is probably one of the lightest colors I've got. So this is a light gray. It's called a blender. Yeah, I almost put my elbow right there. It's like I'm gonna put my elbow there and then lean. It's like that's what you're watching out for. And it's not anything. Oh, hi, Peony. It's not anything. Okay, so you're watching out for these razors. You're being aware that the razors are there, but honestly, this is a very low risk thing. If I didn't have the camera going and all of this stuff, I would have this up here and I'd be like prepping my fabric down here. It wouldn't be so in my face, right? So honestly, I can just go like that, right? I only need 1 each of these. So I am just going to open that up. Put that there. There. And that will, the first thing I already noticed about this particular design is that there is good, because this is coming on a long curve, there is going to be some waste. But if I line up my waist properly, then this extra chunk over here, I can either cut that off now or I can just leave it. And that will fit. I've got another die that I can use in it, right? So just make sure. The good news about this one is that it doesn't matter whether some of these dies, and I've got a couple of die. I've got another die where the direction in which I got another die that I'm going to play with soon, where the direction in which your fabric is pointing is going to matter. Which we know me, I'll talk that to death when that happens, right? So 1 corner, 1 top piece. Now I need 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 pieces of fabric will do it. 1, 2, 3. I don't need this yet. Here's the interesting thing. I'm going to do that. Okay, I already know that I can just drop this over the top when I'm done. Here's the interesting thing. This is a directional fabric. See this? This is a directional fabric. So if I lay this sideways, it's not going to fit anyway. But if I lay this sideways, then my pieces, let me just get it. Let me narrow it up for you. If I put this on this way, then my pieces are going to be that. And it may or may not matter. Do you ever use your dies for machine applique? I don't have any. I've only had this machine for about a month. So I don't have any machine applique yet. I'm just getting started out. As a matter of fact, where the hell? Oh, I'll show you what I was just messing around with. La, 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 la. I was just doing this one. I was just messing around with this one, and this one is one of these, and just keep going till you have a circle, right? And then you just put the outside. It's okay. The idea isn't difficult. But you have to do it in the right order. I ended up with this. They did go out properly, but then I decided not to add these pieces. So I just cut everything straight, and then I'm going to do whatever. But I've got to figure this one out. I did not like the amount of bulk that was in the center. So I just made a quick little hexagon. It's not a very good one because I just slapped it together. But I made a quick little hexagon, and so that I trimmed out this very center and then put a little hexagon on to cover this up. So what I could do, this is where my this is where your applique question becomes relevant. What I could have done if I had an applique design is cut out my little bit of bulk. It's really bulky. You got 12 pieces of fabric all meeting here, right? I didn't like it personally. So what I could have done if I was doing applique was have all of this and then put a piece of applique right there instead, which I think might be something I want to look at in the future. And I could have also done this as a proper hex and appliqued it down. Oh my God, this machine, I did my, when you came in, you noticed there was a little graphic, right? There's a little graphic that you click on to come into the video, right? I'm like, oh, I'm going to go grab this, a picture of this and put it up. You guys might as well have a hint as to what I'm going to be working on, right? There was like, I'm like, click, where the hell is it? Click, 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 click. It's crazy the amount of stuff that they have. And I found out that you can get custom dies made. Oh yeah, it's worse than a Sizzix, and some of these dies are crazy expensive, which I don't blame them. So far, these dies have been really good. Like, I haven't had a problem with any of the dies. And as long as you take care of the dies, they'll last for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. You don't have to worry. They're really sturdy. So anyway, that's what I made. But I found out two things. Yeah, you see the wrinkling there? A little, okay. This was my very first one. Oh yeah, custom. Can you imagine I can just get a custom as there's my bag, there's my bag. There's proper size for my bags. Oh, there's the interfacing I need for the pocket pouches. Yeah, they last for an eternity because the ones at school are over 20 years old. Yeah, they do. They last as long as you take care of them. And what I've been doing to take care of mine, is I have this, and it's plastic. So I'm not going to damage a razor by brushing or with a little bit of plastic, right? So I'm like, do. And then if I have a loose piece of thread, these are a chisel tip because they happen to be a chisel tip, but I'm just going flat. I'm just going flat like that. And if there's a piece of thread picking up, so I might loosen a piece of thread with that and then pick it up with that. So keeping it cleaned up is really simple. The first thing they tell you is, like, if you're going to use tweezers, don't be digging in and poking with the tweezers. Find something that won't damage. Yeah, it's easy. Super easy. I'm super happy with this so far. I really am. It's kind of funny. Because the one thing I've found is that I'm not using it that much. Because, like, it took me when I total up all my time, I did that and all of that. I did this and this and this on the strip dies. And this, I went through all my scrap, and it took me like less than 2 hours. For those who don't know or don't care, this could represent an entire day of cutting. And the only reason why it took me as long as it did was because I was getting the hang of the machine. So yeah, cutting time for processing scrap is 0. Anyway, I made this. I am super happy with how this turned out. So now that I've said that, I'm going to criticize the fuck out of it because I've never done one before. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of mistakes, right? So I need more practice on doing the curve sewing. That's why I have little wrinkles and stuff throughout it. Okay, when you do curve sewing, expect some wrinkles, but there's a lot more than I think there probably should be. Getting everything lined up properly. There's a whole lot of learning curve once you get into doing curve and stuff like that. Really happy with how it turned out. Definitely planning on making more stuff like this. And this was just throwing together a bunch of scrap, because I threw together a whole bunch of scrap because I knew it was going to be you're never happy with the very first one, right? Never. You're never ever happy with the very first one. So my thinking is I'll throw together a bunch of scrap. I'll see what happens. So to explain the shit out of the applique thing, yeah, an applique right here of any kind. Trim out that little trim. I just made a small cut. I just cut out a little bit, just the very center. So trim out the very center where all that huge. It was thick and hard, right? Take out the very center there. Put a piece of applique over top. Done. I'm probably going to start getting into applique, even though I have sworn up and down for years that I'm never. This is why I'm over explaining it. I have sworn up and down for years that I am never going to get into applique. But this, I like how this turned out. A little piece of applique right here. I could have even, like I said, done a proper hexagon because I've got a ruler for it. I could have done a proper hexagon and just appliqued it down instead of what I did. So yeah, that's fun. I need a little bit more practice. This is bigger. And still works with the sewing curves. So anyway, per one square, I need 1 each of these, 2 each of these. When you have directional fabric, double check your direction because some fabrics, okay, like, did I sew that down yet? No, I didn't. I just threw it up in the corner. Okay, like some fabrics, like if I want to use that guy, right? Say I want to put this guy in here, right? If I want to put one of these critters in here, obviously I don't want it sideways across the die. I want it to go in the direction that the die is going to go. So what you doing, Shayla's right here. Hi, baby. Did you change your mind? Come here, baby. Oh, there you are. Okay. My supervisor. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna give you guys some vertigo because we'll see. We'll show you where she is. Come on, girl. Did you move it? There she is. She likes to get as close as possible, but not where I will. She knows that the chair moves. She knows that the chair moves. She knows that I move. So anyway, doesn't matter to me. Well, obviously it's not going to be long enough anyway. So we're going to go like that. That covers 2. And I'm going to bring it down. Bring it down. Look, and now I can throw that on my square one and get a square. Okay, so that will cover 2. That's not going to cover the whole thing. There's more waste than I would like for these. There's more waste than I would like for these, but I guess that depends. Like doing strip sets and stuff like that, you cut a piece of fabric, you put the whole there's some of these types of projects, waste is just a part of the game and there's nothing you can do about it anyway. Because okay, if I'm going to cut a piece like this, right? I'm going to have the same amount of waste whether I'm putting it through a machine or not. Same with this piece. Honestly, there's nothing you can do. This piece, the same thing. If I want to cut this piece and this piece, I am still going to have to take a square piece and I'll have that. So there's a little waste through here that I could be avoiding if I was being uber careful and doing it otherwise. But so that was there. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's okay for these to overlap because I know I'm not doing 6. And then I'm just going to line that up. Okay, here's what I've already figured out. Okay, as long as the piece on the top covers the piece on the bottom, then you know it's going to cut. So I'm only cutting enough for one piece right now. I mean, I'm only cutting enough for one block right now because if I have any problems, I can cut more, but there's no point in agonizing about color matching and all of that stuff until I actually. This is coincidental color matching because of the fabric that was already over there. There we go. I don't think you guys are going to see much, but I've already turned this monster on. And because this is electric, because I'm lazy, la 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 la. There we go. So slide it instead of pull it, and then you don't have to worry about static. So there is the one piece. Don't worry, that's just a bit of dirt. That's not. There's the other piece. Sometimes they do stick, a single little thread. It's literally one single thread. So don't get ripping away at it. So I've got, if I cut there and there, let me just do it. Cut there, cut there, cut there, cut there. I can save it if I really want to, but because I generate an insane amount of scrap, I don't save the really weird stuff. Now this, I could go like this. And yeah, I can drop it. Let's see, let me double check. I can take that and that and put it over there, run it through and get 2 more of these. So it's not about whether or not you have scrap. It's relative to what you plan on doing with it. Oop, that's up. Two. Oh, I think no, there's 2. That's a piece that I might be able to use that. Oh, there it is. I'm like reaching down here going, where is it? Where is it? Another little piece of leftover came out. So 3. Got a little bit left over right there. So yeah, with all the angling, this is the not a catch-22. This is a catch-22 that works. This is a catch that works out in your favor, right? With the way all the angling goes, you've saved yourself from creating extra scrap by being able to put it on the die and get the exact cut you need. So there is a little bit of waste around the outside, but you're gonna have that same waste anyway, just because of the angle cuts and stuff. So anyway, okay, that one goes there and that one goes there. Okay. So if I'm prepping to do the full do 4 sew 4 together, then I'm just gonna go boop 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 boop. This is so fast that you end up not using it. You end up not using it for as much time because you're using it way more efficiently. I'm going to put this away properly for now. And again, this is the awkwardness because of how I'm set up for the camera. This really isn't that big. This isn't that big of a deal, and I'm just storing them like this. And I might even put up a hook or something so I can hang, because you can hang them up. If you want to hang them up, if you want to hang them up, you can just hang them up for as long as the paper holds out. Shayla's over there digging the floor to death. So anyway, where are we? We're back over here. So Linda's frying chicken for dinner. What's everybody else doing today? What's everybody else up to? I'm not up to much. So I'm just going to go la. It's not a rule that you have to lay things out. But if you want to, but if you are, and that's going to be the center, and that's going to be the outside. So I already looked up the instructions. I'll be right back. I gotta blow my nose since when don't I? Oh, and I have to go here to blow my nose. There. Now I gotta do that. Let's bring this over here, baby. Hi, puppy. You're okay, Shayla. La 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 la. You're okay, baby. Nobody's out. Nobody's out to get you. There's a second. Coffee and a protein bar. I like protein bars. I don't know why. I think I just like anything with a lot of protein in it. So yeah, I just realized I hadn't quite set everything up yet. So I just brought my iron over here. I brought my iron over here because, okay, you don't have to iron after every single seam or stuff like that. But when you're learning something new, iron after every single seam. Just trust me. Yeah, girl dinner. I don't know. Dinner for a lot of people that it's like, I have to eat, but I don't know what I want. I'm going to have that. Okay, get over there. Okay. So ironing after every seam is not something that you have to do. It really isn't. I'm going to repeat myself just to make sure that I'm going to repeat myself to make sure I make the point properly. You do not have to iron after every single seam. You do not have to make life that difficult on yourself. But when you're doing something for the first time, the last thing you want is to get it finished. Is it still fuzzy? It's trying. The last thing you want to do is get it finished and go, oh, that didn't quite go where I wanted it to. And then you're stuck guessing, is it because the seam was whatever? Is it because the seam wasn't pressed down properly, or was it because I didn't quite get something right? So I always say on a new project, come on, I'll take that one. On a new project that you're working on for the first time, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is skip using frickin' pins. So there's that. I hate using pins. I will be using pins. I will be using pins when I get to the curved pieces. I'm over here. You guys can just stare at the fuzzy screen. There you go. You guys can stare at the fuzzy screen while I'm threading the machine. Some machines, this is one of them. Let's see if I can get it up here. This machine, once everything's threaded, come here, let's do that. Let's take that back out. Okay, so the machine is threaded up top, right? That's got the thread in it. This, you put this in and you put this here. Some machines have a little track. Some machines have a little track that comes here and you just run the thread through it and go boop and you're done. This machine doesn't. So you have to take this thread here in one hand, take that thread there and make a crisscross. And then down and up manually. I'm over here on the side with the hand wheel. Down and up one time, pull it the rest of the way through. This seems really complicated, and then you just pull out the bottom thread and your machine is threaded. This seems really complicated. I'm gonna do it again just so you guys can see. So you've put your thread through in the top. You put your thread through properly in the top, and it's threaded into the needle. Everything's done. And look at this. This machine, like, it's numbered, right? There's your step there. It's hard to see because it's white on white, but all the steps are there. Do that, do that, do that. Down. That's number 3. That down here. It's number 4. Back up to number 5. Back down. That literally says number 6 right in there. And then you go behind there. It's easy. That part's easy, right? And you're like, okay, this part's easy. Now, what the fuck is it with the bobbin? Bobbin comes along the top, to the top, drop it in, run it back. Come on, run it back until it gets to that one there. It looks like there's a catch there for the thread. You ignore it. You go to the second one. You hook it. You bring it up. That's normal. That's the part that you do. And then the really good, I don't know if you want to call them really good machines, but then some machines are going to have, like I said, they have a little thing in it. So you run it through and you're done, right? With this, this goes to the top. This goes over. That goes under, straight up. You do not have to, you're not using a Kung Fu grip here, just a little bit of pressure so that this one kind of stays where it's meant to be. Down and up one time. You see that pulling? That's your top thread. That is your top thread running through the thing. Give it a pull. Give it a pull. Get all the way under. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Get all the way under. There's a little loop there. I let go of it, so it's now, I let go of it, so that's going to make it a bit awkward, but it's still there. So you get under there, there's that tiny loop there. You hook into the loop with something pointy. You just put something through that loop, pull it, keep pulling it, and now your machine is properly threaded. And when you get the hang of it, I'm just back winding. Since I know how to clean the machine, I can be a little bit lazier about how to do the things. So now, let's show you I'm still going to be a little slow about this, but I'm going to show you in real time because it's like, once you get used to it, it gets really easy. So it's not difficult. I don't know why. I don't know why it hasn't become a standard for all machines to do it, because Singer has machines that have that up and over thing. Singer does not have, they do not have to do it that way, but they do. Anyways, if you have a machine that threads like that, after you've done it a few times, and just grab some cheap thread that you don't care about and do it a few times, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. So this one here, every single one of these pieces has a notch at the top, a notch at the bottom and a notch at the top, so that when I get all of these attached, I'm going to line up the notches, because this one here has 6 notches in it. This piece has 6 notches. So once I get it all lined up, I'm just going to line up all the notches. But these 2 pieces go on last. So now I go, this is pretty simple. This is pretty simple. They fold against each other beautifully, right? So all I'm doing at this point is making sure that I do it in the right order because I want to go. So I'm going to go blue on top, blue on top, blue on top. Get over here. Ignore my computer. I'm going to flip them around. This piece is actually narrow enough that if you really wanted to, you could run it through the machine on the inside, but running things through the machine on that side is kind of a habit you want to avoid if you can. So even when you flip it, these notches match. So that'll help you make sure you're getting it right. Quarter-inch seam all the way down. I knew it, you little fucker. This particular machine this is an issue with the machine. Some machines just do not do well. And I always do it. I do this every fucking time. Some of these machines don't do super awesomely well with the corners. It tried to suck the corner in, which is not a big deal. I'm just going to double check. I may not bother to fix it. So we'll see. Yeah, that's where I have to do it. More light. It put a little crimp right there, so I just need to peel that. I need to take out. I don't need to take out everything. I just need to take out the crimp. This is just a seam that's going to get covered up anyway. I popped out the crimp. I can leave everything else alone. You can, depending on what's going on, it's often better to leave it. It's often better to leave it because as you start picking these apart, you can end up causing it to fray at the corner, and then suddenly you don't have enough fabric left to make a quarter-inch seam. So, yeah. Stitch leader. I'm keeping a little tiny bit of pressure here so that I'm keeping a tiny, I only turn this light on when I need it because it can be, I'm keeping a tiny bit of pressure here because it's just, yeah, it's a quirk of this particular machine. My other machine doesn't go in for another month. Quarter-inch seam all the way down that side. There we go. I'm skipping the pins because I'm lazy and because I'm just doing a straight, I'm doing a straight stitch. I'm not doing anything. The curve is going to come when these are put together. The edges are nice and straight. So I can skip the pins, pin it if you're not comfortable. Yeah, we're probably just doing McDonald's for dinner tonight. I don't know what we're doing. I just had toast for lunch. It's like, I don't know what I want. I'm not hungry. Stop and check as often as you need to. If you do these in small groups, then it's a little quicker because you do your sewing as one step. Then I'll iron 3 pieces as one step instead of sew, iron, sew, iron. Okay, I will say that now I really love. Let's do a single back stitch. I really love the other one that I did. I really love that other one, but I'll tell you that one took me a really long time to sew because every piece is a curve. So every piece goes. When you're sewing a curve, you have to go really slow and make sure you're staying on your you have to go really slow to make sure you're staying on that quarter-inch. So This is to relax the seam. Come on. Did you turn yourself off? You couldn't have. Not very warm. Oh, have fun. Yeah, this is actually okay. This is actually going really cool. That other little one that I showed you took me like 2 hours to make it. And I did so many practice pieces. I actually had to go look up a couple of tutorials to make sure that I was I had to look up a couple of tutorials on the other one because the other one actually sews together in a very specific way. There we go. Relax the seam, then open it. I don't know if you're noticing, I'm opening all the seams in the same direction. If you open all your seams in the same direction, you will get a more consistent result. Because don't forget, once I get all, okay, so I've opened all of the seams going that way, which is not, it's not the end of the world. However you line up your seams is not the end of the world, but I'm going to be putting them onto this. Oh, that's weird. That's already lined up. I shouldn't be. Oh, no, it's not quite. Okay, anyway, when I put it onto this, it's going to go on easier, and the bulk is going to be, because if this and this are pointed towards each other, then that bulk crosses. I'll show you in a minute. You'll see in a minute. Okay. So now I'm going to put that one on there and get that sewn down. Get my stitch leader or I'm going to have a problem. That's funny too, because this is the quirky machine, but I would still, if I had to stick with one machine for the rest of my life, I would still pick this machine. So I'm lining, I don't have to line that up with that. I really don't. So I'm not agonizing over that, but I'm lining up those little points. I'm lining up these little points, and that's making the edge line up perfectly, and then just lining it up. Get a couple of stitches into that stitch leader. Get a little bit. I'm not pulling hard on this. I'm not pulling hard. I'm just maintaining a little tension. Maintaining a little tension. Hey, who's been into the Sport of Tarot Facebook group today? Lisa posted some pictures from Sassy Dragon. That's coming along beautifully. It's almost done. Well, I guess almost being a relative term, but there we go. Okay, that one's done. So I'm going to iron this one open right now. By the way, a lot of people use 2 stitch leaders so that they don't have to be constantly snipping them. So I'm going to, okay. See, if I open this seam that way, then everything's neatly lined up. If I open this seam, if I do it that way, these two are close to each other, which will make that thicker. Okay, back to here. So, iron everything in the same direction. Once I start getting bigger pieces like this, I'll iron front and back. And toss that back up. See, for this one, it doesn't matter. For this one, it doesn't matter for this one here, it doesn't matter whether I sew this to that end or that to that end, right? It's not going to matter. But if say I wanted that to be black, like say I wanted these two to be different or whatever, then the more you do to work with it, the more you do to make it look like a pattern, the more you have to do to make sure you're tracking your pattern so you don't lose track of what's what. Let me just get over here. This is going to be a quick seam going in. Come on, you get over there. There we go. Okay, I like this one. I'm really liking this one. As long as, okay, now the moment of truth is going to be when I'm putting these two things on. So, quick iron. Quick iron, quick. Okay, am I missing two? No, that's right. Okay, so I've got that. Now that has to go there, and that has to go there. Now this is where it's going to get interesting, because the best way to do this is to line these up. The hell, did I do something wrong? This doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. Okay, now this is a curve. This is where you're gonna do all of your agonizing. This is a curve, so it's got to go like that and like that, right? Best way to make sure you get it. If you start here, you can start here and just go. You can start here and just go, but if something doesn't line up properly, you could find yourself at the other end without enough stuff. So what you're supposed to do is line up your center. Line up your center, give it a pin. Come on. Line up your center, pick it up, risk a fingertip. I don't like using pins, so I don't use pins very often. So now when I'm trying to get my pins lined up, everything's shifting on me. I am used to using clips. Okay, so the idea now is that you go like that. Okay, so you line up your center, right? And that doesn't look like that doesn't look like anything is happening, but then you line up that. Now it looks all freaking weird, right? Line up your center and then line up that. This is if you're used to sewing, okay, if you're a person who sews clothing, this is probably you're probably looking at me going, Peggy, this is so easy, but I don't do clothes, right? I don't do clothes, so this is not my idea of a good time right now. Get that stitch leader in there. Get a moment, get a little pin in there for just a minute. In theory, I want to pin this end too, but in theory, I want to pin this end too, just to make sure nothing's moving. And you can literally sit there and pin the entire thing. You can literally go, and maybe I'll give you an idea what that looks like. Like you can come through and you can just go. You can come through and just go pin. And what you're doing is you're lining up all those little points that are cut into it. You're just lining them up. So that, then you come onto this side, do the same thing. You know what? I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. If I line up everything like you're supposed to do, take your time, obviously. Let's get over here. I'm gonna put all the pins in. This is my problem, is that I don't like using the pins. I never think to use the pins. I have to think about when, where, and how to use the pins. So then you just go like that. Doesn't really matter which way the pins are going, honestly, as long as you're confident that you're not going to like stab yourself 400 times. So then I want to line. So yeah, okay. So this is working out really well. I'm just when I was holding them up to each other, it looked like the points weren't lining up, but they are lining up once you flip everything and try and get it to hold together. I'm going to take this out now because I've got these two done and these two done. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to line that one up. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, this is nice. And look. Okay, I did everything. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but these two are just falling right into place. They fell right into place. They're lined up. So I'm liking this one a lot. Like, I really like this one. Like I said, the other one's really nice. What's it called? Yeah, this one here is really nice, but every line is a curve. And because curves aren't something that I do normally, every line was a learning curve. Now, if I really want to, and I'm not, because this one here seems to be a little bit off center, not off center, but it seems like it might shift. So if I really want to, I can go into that one and put another pin in. I have seen videos where people are working on projects like this, and they're literally pinning a 30-inch piece of fabric with pins this close together. So don't be afraid of all the extra pins to make sure that you're lining up the way that you want to line up. Okay, that should be fine. Now this first part should be fine because that's always easiest. It's always easiest at the beginning until things start moving out of place. Okay, so back over here. I literally thought I was going to be all day at this. So I'm just, in order to make sure I'm not going to have any shifting, I'm also just pulling, I'm pulling that to line up with that, even though I'm going to be sewing all the way up here. And I'm going to get up my glove because I can't seem to, super dry hands. There we go. Same 1/4-inch seam allowance. I'm only doing exactly one back stitch. Okay, now don't let anybody tell you that you cannot sew over your pins. The problem with sewing over your pins is that there is a risk that if the needle thunks down, if the needle comes down on the pin and hits the pin, the needle's going to go like that, and it's going to go one way or the other on the pin. There is a slight risk that the pin could start to bend over time, and there is a slight risk that if it ever clunks exactly on the pin, that it may not slip. It may just go and break your needle. But the risk is actually really, really low. It's a really, really low risk as long as you're careful and aren't going nuts. Well, even if you aren't being careful and you are going nuts, it's really a low risk. I don't recommend it as the status quo, but I do recommend that every now and again, it's in your best interest to just leave those pins in. Yeah, you hear it? Did you hear that little noise? It hit the needle, but it just shifted around the needle. That's also one of the reasons why they're always saying, get a new needle for every project. If you really, really, really don't want to change your needles very often, and for some people that's a big issue, right? Material, all the little odds and ends and bits and bobs gets expensive. If that's an issue for you and it's like, I don't want to change my needles that often, then yeah, make sure you're taking the pins out as you reach them. But if you're okay with replacing the odd needle, or rather replacing your needles a little more often or be more careful, then that's good. That's fine. Okay. Whoop. And it's still lining up. Let's see. Okay, that one needs the tiniest of adjustments. Okay. We're either going to ooh and ah, or we're going to be like, oh my God, what happened? One single back stitch. Oh, two. Okay. We're down there. Do. Okay, it went really well. I'm almost scared to open it and find out what it did, though. Okay, now they always say to relax your seam with a little shot of heat. Okay, let's get the siren. For this piece at the bottom, it's gonna go better if you push your seam towards the push this larger piece into the smaller piece. That's gonna go better. I already knew that from the other tutorial. Let's see what we got. One from the back. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Now, why do I feel like, yeah, it's not 90 degrees. What's going on there? Oh, okay. This particular thing is designed for 1/4-inch seams, and well, no, this is fine. Mine does 1/4-inch seams, but if your seam is off by the tiniest bit, then it's going to go a 16th, a 16th, a 16th, a 16th, and a 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 16ths is a 1/4 of an inch. So when you come back, this is why no matter what you're making or how you're making it, they always tell you to square it up. Once you make a block, they tell you to square it back up again before you move on to the next step, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So this is the same thing. I've got 2 points here. I'm going to match them up, throw in a pin. Two points here, going to match them up, throw in a pin. This is going to be a more distinct curve. If I had known that this was going to be, I honestly thought, because it took me so long to do the other one, I honestly thought I was literally going to be here all day doing this one. It's only been it's only been an hour, and we all know how slow I get when I'm talking. So it's like, this is awesome. This is like really awesome. And I'm going to pin that corner just to keep me on track. And line up the, I had to double check. I just realized this is such a pale fabric that it can be hard to tell the front from the back. But the good news is this is such a pale fabric, it can be hard to tell from the front from the back, right? But if I ever screw that up, the back can be used by itself. I would have just, for the purposes of this project, I would have just flipped it over and let the back be the front. And a pin right there just to be sure. Okay. Go over there. Okay. Woo. Okay. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Stitch leader. If I'm just doing straights, for some types of stitching, I need the stitch leader. For other types, I don't, which is why it's just a quirk of this machine, right? So I'm going to, let's see if we can get back down in here carefully. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of the blue sticking out here. So I'm going to get a couple of stitches in here, and then I'm just going to I'm just going to guide. I'm going to guide with my tweezers because it's just less, it's more, I'm going to guide the top a little bit with my tweezers to make sure I'm following that curve, or I could end up just going straight, which I don't want to do. I obviously want the curves, or I wouldn't have bought something that gives me curves. So I'm going to get a couple stitches in. That one's definitely going to hit the, okay. This one's definitely going to hit the pin just because of the angle that the pin's in. So we're also going to get rid of that. And this has got a slight curve to it. And I can't really get in closer because I need my hands in there close to see what I'm doing. So this has got a slight curve to it. So I'm just trying to make sure that once I'm beside the needle here, is it going to do it? I'm trying to make sure that this section here that's beside the needle is at my 1/4 inch mark. And I'm not quite so worried about what's over here because it is going to be ever so slightly in, right? It probably would have been a better thing to show you on the previous one. So yeah, as long as this section here directly across from the needle is at your 1/4 inch, then you're doing it right. I'm going to take these ones out as I go, though. Whoop. What were you hooked on? Okay, that was in just a bit. Don't mind me, I'm just going to talk to myself now. There we go. Well, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to get I was going to ask Lisa for actual dates. But I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to have the wherewithal to go live today. So it's like, but I could have asked her, like, does she have a delivery? Does she have a delivery, or rather, she doesn't have a delivery estimate yet, but she's going to be getting, if she doesn't already have it, she'll be getting her shipping estimate soon. So that's like, oh, the deck will be ready to ship, should be ready to ship by this date, right? I don't know if she's got that yet. That's for Unicorn Journey, of course. La la la. I know it's like anybody who really enjoys hearing the sound of the machine isn't going to hear much today because it's like you got to go slow. I will say when you're doing these corners, you got to slow down. That the first one I tried on the other one. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a few of these curves together first and see how they go. I just grabbed random fabric and it's like, I'm just going to do some of the curves. I'm just going to do the curves. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to zap together a few of these curvy pieces because I know I knew it was a tighter curve. It's like, okay, I'm just going to zap a few of these together and see how they go. And it was like, the faster I went, it's kind of a catch-22 because it's like anything, as you get the hang of it, you will automatically go faster and faster. But wow, was I not ready for full speed. I'm like, okay, wow, that's a mess. So these are slower. Okay, one back stitch. I'm just doing, it's just, my back stitch is just a button. I don't even have my foot on the pedal. So when I hit the back stitch, every now and again, it'll do 2 instead of 1. So this is what we got. Oh. Ooh. Okay, let's go iron this one in place. Again, this one here, same thing. Wait a second. Is this going to go better if I go that way? Yeah. Okay, so this one here, this top one, press the seam away from this curve, but press the seam towards the smallest part of the arc. That's the small part of the arc. That's the bigger piece. That's the small. That's the bigger, right? Inner, outer. Yeah. Press your seams towards the middle, towards what would be the middle. I'm just going through I'm not pressing very hard. I've got the iron right here, so I'm just making sure that it goes in. All right. Okay. Oh, that's one of my mistakes. In, not out. All right. Okay, so what I did here, I actually ironed in a crease in here, which isn't going to do me any favors. So now I got to give it a quick little blast. Okay. What I did, it was nice and flat. It was nice and flat, right? And then I took the iron and went, and I shouldn't have because I pushed everything to an angle. Not the end of the world. And if I sew it, not the end of the world, especially once I sew it into a project. Now, let's just get this guy up here. Come here. You come up here. I believe this is supposed to make a 10-inch block, so let's see what we're looking at. 9-inch block. So now I'm going to go. Okay, I'm going to leave this. So I'm not going to leave it. Screw that. Screw this. I'm not going to leave it. What you're supposed to do now. Okay, what you're supposed to do now is make 3 more of these, right? And then before you sew them together, you need to square them up. Because if I just try to wiggle this into place, if I just try to guesstimate this into place, because this is everything shifts, right? So if I just try to guesstimate this into place, it's going to be a really sloppy finished block. Get you in there. That one's off the tiniest bit on the corner, but it's the corner. We don't have to agonize about the corner. If I really want to, I'll fix that. Okay, we'll do that. We'll bring this up. There we go. Now we'll fix that. There. There. Now I have. Oh, you have fun at your mom's Bohemian girl. Bohemian. Apparently, I can't even pronounce Bohemian. Thanks for coming and hanging out. That's done. This is done. I'm already done. That's nice. So then I just make 3 more of these, connect them all together, do things with it. It's not perfect. There's definitely lots for me to, there's definitely room to improve because it's the very first one I've ever done. But this is like about 500% better than I literally thought I was going to do the first one and go, oh, yuck, throw it away. And I can definitely use this one. Wonder if I can do something with it exactly as is. Nah, I'll save it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it, make some more. I am done. This is done. Wow, I thought it was going to take all day. That's okay. I've got other stuff to do. I'm going to start sewing. I am going to start sewing. I have got, I needed to see how that was going to go. But I also need to get this and this. I need to start processing this into my next quilt. I've been doing this one. As I sew on a piece, this is a toilet roll. As I sew on a piece, I just roll it up onto my roll. And then I'm going to do the same with this and sew them together so that I have one wide, one narrow. There'll be one wide, one narrow as we go along. And then I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to do block. I think I'm just going to do blocks where I've got one, that'll all be in stripes. So I'll cut them so that one goes this way, one goes this way, then just put them all together. Or I'll do racing stripe, and I've probably got enough fabric for both. But anyway, this was actually a quick video today. It's already 3 o'clock, and I do have a couple of other things I wanted to get to today before I get back to doing this. But thanks for hanging out with me while I sorted that out. I am really loving my Accuquilt. And like I said, this is my first block. if you're wandering in, if you're just wandering in and catching it now, it's like this is the very first block. This is the very first of this block. Let's see. Come on, get in there. This is the block this is the block I'm making, called the Grandmother's Fan. This is a block I made called the Grandmother's Fan. This is the very first one. Doesn't that say actual size? I don't know. This is the very first one of this block that I've made. So anything you're going to see a little bit of wrinkly and wiggly, which is obviously how the very first time you do anything tends to go. I am still learning how to do the curves, how to do curved stitching in general. So I am incredibly happy with how easy this one was. Now, don't get me wrong. This one here was easy. Whoops. This one here, the Joseph's coat. This one here was actually really easy, but because I don't have any practice with the curved pieces, it took a really long time, and I made a lot more little mistakes. Little mistakes that got me in my got me in my feels. So I'm definitely getting back to that one, but I'm going to do some stuff with this one first to get some practice, to get some better practice with easier curves before I go back to that one. That was definitely a harder one to do. This one here, though, this was easy. This was super easy. I thought that I was going to be struggling like all day with this. I really did. I thought, oh, I'll go on at 2 and I'll get this done at 4:30 or whatever, right? And it took me an hour because I'm talking. Oh, wait. Okay. There's a teeny tiny pleat there. And snipping that stitch just released the pleat. So one wrinkle is gone. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. I will definitely be doing, I'm definitely going to do more of these. I'm definitely doing more of those too, but I think Joseph's coat is going to have to wait until I've gotten more practice on something and this is a lot easier. I really like it. There was waste, but there was waste, but it's stuff I can use for other projects. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. Oh, 90% of actual size. That's about right. Is it? No, that's like, yeah. Anyway, this is called a block on board. It's Grandmother's Fan, 1 die, 1 block. And I'm going to do 3 more. I'm going to do 3 more later. Not today, but I'm going to do 3 more and see what I can put that together into. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to get going, guys. I'm going to get going so that I can get other stuff done today as well. Now that I've all of a sudden opened up, I've just opened up the rest of my afternoon for other projects and activities. So I'm going to go do that. And in the meantime, you guys have a great afternoon. I will see you soon. Probably, I don't know if I'll be on Friday or not, actually. I don't know. I'll be back as soon as I can. In the meantime, you guys have a great week.